Okay, the purpose of this application is to demonstrate the Blue 2.0 Salesforce.com integration toolkit, which we utilize for communication between Salesforce applications with BPM. In this case, we've signed on as a Salesforce user, and we've gone over to the Benefit Calculations tab, where you can either create a whole new object and populate that, but we have one already existing, so let's take a look at that one. The required information to put in is the account name, request status, request description, all of the primary contact information, as well as the request reasons. Now, really the important part of this application is this Open Activities section. The New Task button is what helps us trigger a task from Salesforce into BPM. So let's click that button, and the task type that we're interested in is this calculation dispute. That is the key to the Salesforce trigger that will then create the BPM instance. Let's fill in the data that we need to populate. Let's fill in the subject, select a due date. We can leave the priority as it is, and then we'll always include a description as to why we're actually creating this task. And I'm going to unselect the reminder. I don't need any pop-ups from Salesforce for this process, and then hit the Save button. So right now you see in the Open Activities section we have a new task with our subject and a status of not started. Now if we select and open that task, or if we would have just refreshed the page, we see that the status has changed to in process. What that indicates to us is that there has been a task created on the BPM side and has responded in kind that it's received it and is now in progress. So let's move over to the IBM BPM process portal, and we see a task here for the user that we're signed in. So let's claim that task. And now within this task in BPM, we can see that all the same information that we entered in Salesforce is available to the BPM user. Now, one of the additional pieces that we'd like to demonstrate is that we can also send comments, notes back and forth. This also can be extended to even chatter feeds. So let's enter text into the comment field, and we'll add that comment. And see in our comment history, it's been timestamped. And this is the text message that is being sent back to Salesforce as a note. So let's go back to the Salesforce user. Now if we refresh that task, we'll see in the note section that we do have a new note that the customer service rep from BPM entered. And now let's respond to their request for more information. So we enter a bunch of description of our reply. We can add a subject. And let's then save that. If we refresh our task, we'll see that now we've got two notes, the original note from the BPM CSR rep, as well as our reply. So if we go back to BPM process portal and refresh that user's task, we are expecting to see the reply. I said we are expecting to see the response that is being sent from Salesforce to BPM. In this case, we are observing their message here. So one of the other pieces I'd like to highlight outside of Salesforce is that although we're within a structured business process within BPM, we do have the capability to create optional ad hoc tasks that are outside of the normal process. What I've done is I've expanded our request client section here and started a new task. That has actually created an additional task within BPM. So if we go back to this user's inbox, we'll see that there now is, here's the original task that they're working on, and here's the new task generated. Let's claim this task. And this task hasn't been fully implemented in BPM, but what we're going to demonstrate here is this, by completing this task, what we're actually doing is we're now creating a task in Salesforce underneath that same benefit calculations object we were working with before. So if we hit done, you see that that task completes. You can go back to Salesforce in that same, let's back up to the object that we're working on, the pension benefit calculation dispute. Oops, try that again. Okay, yeah, we're back. We see our list of open activities. And there's our original task that we sent to BPM. Refresh the screen, and now we do see the task that was generated by BPM is now on the Salesforce side. It's in a status of not started, and if we would have fully implemented that on the BPM side, we would see some of this other data populated. So now let's actually go back to BPM into the task that we're working on, and now just close the loop and resolve this task. The intention with resolving the task is that we're going to close the task on the BPM side, report that the task has been completed to Salesforce, and then we expect to see the Salesforce task being updated from in process to completed. So we've entered our resolution, so let's hit the resolve button, and we see that the task has disappeared. So back on the Salesforce side, you see that this is still in progress, but let's go and select that. And now we see that the status has been changed to completed, and we can also see the resolution information that was provided by the BPM user. And if we just back out to our main object and refresh our page, we'll see that that task has now moved from open activities down into the activity history section as complete.